I am so excited to share this granola bar recipe. I got it when I was teaching at Baker College in Muskegon, Michigan from a colleague who runs and owns the Grand Finale Bakery in Grand Haven, Michigan. This is a professional size recipe. It's a full sheet pan. I have scaled it down to half, but it's very easy to scale down to a quarter. The instructions are easy, but they are specific. So I recommend having a copy of the recipe and method nearby. The desired outcome is a sweet, buttery, soft granola bar. This recipe is very well balanced, so if you make substitutions in the ingredients, you need to understand what their original function is and how swapping them for another would alter the final outcome. I like to use thick oats because they have a lot of fiber and they're good for you, but they do absorb a lot of moisture. The recipe is well balanced for sweet, so flaked coconut should be unsweetened. Sliced almonds are called for in the original recipe, but they break apart with all of the stirring, so I choose to use slivered almonds, which are sturdier. I use dark organic flax seeds, Connecticut maple syrup, and unsalted butter. Honey is not always a neutral flavor decision. Choose the flavor profile that matches to your taste. Brown sugar, light or dark, has molasses. All of the invert sugars in this granola bar recipe keep the bar soft long after they've been assembled. I used dried cherries and golden raisins for the dried fruit, but you can choose any variety based on flavor or color. This granola is made in 2 stages. The first stage involves mixing the dry ingredients with the maple syrup and the first scaling of butter that is melted. It is toasted and stirred at 10-minute intervals until it reaches the desired color. The second stage involves combining over heat the melted butter, honey, and brown sugar. This mixture is poured over the toasted granola and mixed very carefully. I add the dried fruit and use my gloved hand so that I can feel that everything has been very well distributed. Believe it or not, all of that granola will fit into that half-sheet pan. I well oil the parchment and the sides of the pan for easy release later. And I use my hands and a rolling pin I bought at the Winkler Bakery in Old Salem, North Carolina. Even compression is very important at this stage. The rolling pin is a great tool for achieving evenness, but my hands are an even better tool for confirming. Never submerge a wood rolling pin in water or use soap. Just wipe it off with a sanitized, clean hot towel and it will last you a lifetime. Cover the granola with a clean parchment and sheet tray that has been turned upside down. Wrap it tight and find whatever you can to evenly weigh down the sheet tray. The granola will continue to solidify and compress overnight. Release the edges of the granola with a knife and flip it out, removing the used parchment. At this point, you decide how this granola bar will be divided. While the granola bar is best eaten at room temperature, it can be stored well wrapped in the cooler or double wrapped in the freezer. It can be stored portioned or as a whole. I firmly believe that any recipe you try should be executed exactly as written the first time through. If you choose to swap ingredients, they should be ingredients that don't affect the moisture or texture, so you can change the nuts or the fruit. But if you are going to swap any of the sweeteners or fats, make sure that you verify and can defend the ingredient function of the ingredient being swapped and the ingredient that you are swapping it for. I think this granola bar from the Grand Finale in Grand Haven, Michigan that was developed by Chef Justin Raha is perfection. There's nothing stopping you from being creative with a fancy finishing salt like Malden, a drizzle of chocolate, a dip in white chocolate, or very fancy nuts and dried fruits. I think this is an heirloom recipe because I found it during my travels through life, and it is delicious, it is easy to make, and it is infinitely shareable. I hope you enjoy it.